Hey guys, what's up? Chestnut Bird here. The live stream, we are about to get into analyzing some chess games, most instructive chess games played. Just gonna send out a quick message. How's everyone doing? Chess TV chat, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Still getting a little set up here, getting things rocking and rolling. How's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome. For those who don't know, this is Chestnut Bird. We are working on trying to become a chess expert in over-the-board chess. Not so much in online play, because we all know, if you know, you've watched the stream, you know I'm not that great at online play, but we are worrying more about our over-the-board performance. And so, with that said, we're going to get started. This first game is going to be about the Knights Outposts at d5. Just typing the players' names in here. All right. So this was played in Moscow in 1956. It's going to feature a Sicilian Defense. The white player knows that a good grip on the center almost always guarantees the success of a kingside attack. He therefore plans to anchor a knight at d5 so firmly that it can never be driven away. To accomplish this, he must do away with two enemy pieces that bear down on that square, a bishop and a knight. He lures the bishop off by a gift of a pawn and disposes of the knight by pinning it and forcing its exchange. Once the knight reaches the magic square d5, combinations appear out of the air as a reward, and the kingside attack seems to play itself. So let's get into it. We know it's a Sicilian, so e4, c5, attacking the d4 square, not allowing white to play d4. Now knight f3, developing a piece, putting control over d4 and e5. d6, simply controlling e5 square and supporting c5. d4. We trade. Knight f6 develops a piece, attacks the e4 pawn. Knight c3 develops a piece to guard the d4 pawn, or e4 pawn. g6, preparing to attack the center with the bishop that's being kettled. And now f3 by white, securing this pawn and helping support this g4, h4, h5 ideas. This move does many things. It strengthens the center. It prevents an attack on the bishop and prepares for a later pawn storm by g4 and h4. Oh, oops, I'm sorry. I missed a move here. We messed this up. g6, bishop e3 first, I'm sorry. Bishop e3, bishop g7, and now f3. That is my fault there. Alright, f3 is here. Alright, and then black castles. This is king to safety, queen d2. Knight c6, and castles queenside. Alright, so typical dragon. For those who don't know, this is the dragon variation. How's everyone doing? I believe we are up and running. We should be anyway. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Alright, knight c6. Where am I? Castle queenside, that's right. And now black decides to take on d4. This is an attempt by black to free himself. Hey, what's up, Rufus and Doofus? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing tonight? Thanks so much for stopping by. Always love Rufus and Doofus. 64 bits, Rufus and Doofus. You always hide your bits. Your biddies hide away. I never know their bits. I always think they're emotes, but they're biddies. Thank you so much, Rufus Doofus, for the 64 bits. That is really nice of you. Thank you so much. Alright, so bishop takes d4, and now queen a5. So king b1. Now this threatens knight d5. Here, we'll play it out. We'll play it out for those who don't want to see it. This threatens knight d5 now. Oh, oops, I'm sorry. I can't play it out yet. Knight d5. Because now if queen takes d2, then the knight can snap e7 with check. Alright, so keep up with this. Queen, knight d5, queen takes d2. And now this knight can snap at because it's going to be with check, and then we take the queen. So we win a pawn in that variation. But if instead you do have stand by and might stream a couple more hours, it's something that cool. Alright, knight d5. If queen d8, then you take on f6 with the knight. Alright, so instead black plays e5. Now white does not have this chance to actually take the pawn after the queen trades. So bishop e3. Now bishop e6, helping control d5, but also aiming down here at the a2 pawn. And so just a3. Rook at f to d8. And this is going to prepare for the eventual d5, which is a move that black always wants to play in the Sicilian to free their position. Maybe not always, but 99% of the time. Now white plays knight b5. This powerful move interferes with black's plans. So if black replies to it with queen takes d2, then rook takes d2 follows, and white is now threatening rook takes d6, as well as knight c7. This is knight c7, rook a to c8, and then knight will take on e6. And white would then have the advantage of the bishop pair versus a knight and bishop. So instead of that, black plays queen a4. And if you all want to analyze or have any questions or comments to post in the chat, feel free to join in on the discussion. We are here to get better, all of us, if you're in the stream. All right, so now the D pawn is attacked 3 times. So we have 1, 2, 3 attackers. But if white took it, this would be the consequence. So knight takes d6. Does anyone in the chat have an idea why we can't play queen knight takes d6? Yeah, I cleaned the glasses off. We worked today, they got dirty. I forgot to clean them before the stream. All right, now we're clean. Now we're, oh my goodness, look at that. It's like I made HD vision out of the world. All right. Knight takes d6. And what we would end up getting into is this type of stuff here. Knight e8. So now bishop c5, because the knight's pinned. the knight would end up pinned to the queen. So typically you don't want to ever capture with something that could be pinned to a more powerful piece, because you could end up in lots of trouble like this. So now knight takes and bishop takes. So once again, black just forced white to put a piece in front of his queen. The queen is now costing white some issues here. And now bishop f8, again attacking the pinned piece. So queen b4, trying to trade off queens and also get themselves out of trouble. But now rook takes d6, rook takes d6, queen takes b4, a takes b4, and bishop takes d6, and black has just won a piece. Now you may be asking, instead, here, why doesn't white just take black's queen? Well, because this is checkmate. That's his why. So we do not take this pawn. So instead, white plays c4. Now this is a brilliant sacrifice which must be accepted. Hey, what's up, DJ? How's it going? How's it going? We're doing some chess studying. Thanks so much for stopping by. A brilliant sacrifice which must be accepted. Refusing the pawn means that black could never free himself by playing d5. Because white now has this amazing lockdown on this d5 square. So black has to take this. Because it would also enable white to play knight c3 next and just continue to clamp down on the d5 square. And knight c3 also would attack the queen, gaining time to be able to play knight d5. Alright, so bishop takes c4. Knight c3, attacking the queen, saving the knight. Queen b3. Bishop takes c4, not allowing queen a2 and all sorts of crazy things to happen. So now queen takes c4. Now one black piece that has been controlling d5 has been getting ridden of. How about we learn how to talk? I need to do voice exercises before I stream. All right, bishop g5. So now the point is that this knight has been controlling d5, so white wants to get rid of this knight as well so that white can place its knight on d5 and have this amazing outpost and control all of these squares with this knight. Keep black with the backward pawn here. So now after queen e6, white gets rid of this piece. And now look at this knight, the beautiful outpost on d5. So again, it all started with this pawn sacrifice, so that we could get our knight to d5. That was the plan. So now this knight keeps this pawn backwards and controls very critical squares, not only in the enemy camp, but also helps support squares in our own camp. Look at how powerful that knight is in the center of the board. So now we shall see whether this imaginative strategy is justified. So white has given up a very solid and valuable pawn. It is the c pawn, a very valuable pawn, for something that is a little intangible. Just because the knight can't be attacked there doesn't always mean it's a good piece there, but this knight is very powerful, but is it worth the pawn? That's what we're going to find out here. So queen h4. So black is going to try to prevent the advance of the adverse kingside pawns. Black wants to meet g3 with queen h3. And if white wants to play h6, so I'll show this on the board. So black wants to do this. If white plays h3, he wants to get his queen to h3 so that white can't play these advancements with the pawns and try and attack black's kingside, because then this knight does actually prove to be quite valuable. And if white were to play h6 first, wanting to play g4, then you would get bishop h6 attacking the queen, and then the bishop would come into f4. And once again, you don't really get anything with your pieces there, because this is going to keep a lockdown on white's pawns, and at least make it more difficult for white to really get something going without involving some trades and things like that. And then at that point, white's attack's gone, and black has reached an endgame. And usually black is better in an endgame because of the center pawns that black has in these positions. So queen h4 is to meet g3 with queen h3, and h3 gets met with bishop h6 followed by bishop f4. Alright, so white plays queen e2. Simply getting away from this diagonal, and for other reasons that we're going to see here. So now bishop f8, and now queen f1. So we know why black played queen h4. So why do we think white played queen f1? Does the chat have any ideas why queen f1 was played? I'll wait for chat to come up with some answers. I'm just gonna grab a quick drink. No nonsense, says g3 works now. No nonsense. I would say you are correct. Because now when g3 is played, black does not have queen h3, because obviously that would just drop the queen. So this is a very important move here. Now rook a to c8. And now white plays g3. So now the pawns are going to begin their advance to break up black's kingside. So queen g5. h4. And then queen h6. So there is another move here. Black does have queen takes g3. But after rook d2, rook g2 is coming. What? Harlem Knight with the raid. What is up? We have to do the transition. Yo, Harlem Knight, welcome, and everyone from Harlem Knight, welcome to Chess Nerdbird stream, where we are on the road to expert, even though the T is a little cut off, but we're also a little cut off from the rating, so. But we are studying the most instructive games of chess ever played by Irving Chernov. So welcome Harlem Knight. For those watching my stream that don't know about Mr. Harlem Knight himself, he is also a streamer and chess player. So make sure you go check out his stream. What's up, Pickled Pawn? How are you doing tonight? Pickled Pawn is also a streamer and chess player. Make sure you go check out Pickled Pawn. Yeah, Harlem Knight, thank you for stopping by and raiding. Thank you. Thank you, and welcome everyone. All right, so we're looking at this game played in Moscow in 1956, I believe. Hey, see you, Harlem Knight. Thanks again, and welcome everyone. How's everyone doing? Nice Pickle Pond is living the dream. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we're to get you guys caught up in this game real quick. Let's look at what's going on in this game. So White has just started to advance some pawns on the king side. This was a Sicilian opening. The concept is a Knights Outpost on d5. So that's what we're looking at as an example of this game. Just another concept that knights enjoy outposts that can't be attacked by pawns. So this knight is there. White gave up a pawn to get this outpost. So we're looking at is this outpost worth that pawn that White just gave up? And these are the moves that just happened: g3, queen g5, h4, and then Black played queen h6. So that's where we're at. So for everyone just coming into the stream, this is where we're at. So you are now caught up to the game. What we were doing though was looking at this line. Instead of queen h6, we were looking at queen takes g3. Hold on, let me get back there. Queen takes g3. And the point is that rook d2 kind of leaves Black curiously helpless against the threat of rook g2, thus winning the queen because the queen's trapped. Like there's really, the queen can't go anywhere. Like what do you do? What do you do? Right? So that's why you don't take the pawn. All right, so queen h6 and now g4. So White is a coming down the board. White is not afraid. White is not afraid. And White is intending to play g5. So here, let's just make a random move for Black. So White wants to play g5. If queen g7, knight f6 check. King h8 and h5. We're threatening h6. And if g takes h5, then rook takes h5. And well, we're still threatening to win the queen. So that is no good. That is what we are threatening. If instead Black were to go queen g7, I'm sorry, not queen g7, queen h5. Well, I'm sure if I gave the chat a minute to look at this, you would find a tactic that would win. So we know why we can't play queen h5. Why can we not play queen h5? I know you guys see this. Yeah, same check, no sense. So you have knight f6, right? And you win the queen. Knight f6, king moves, and then we would just pick up the queen. Okay. So g4 was played, and now Black plays g5. We're not saying it's a good move, but we're saying it's a move. Ace takes g5, queen takes g5, and now rook h5, and look at this. This attack is basically playing itself. It plays itself so much that Black actually takes, oh I'm sorry, Black does not take. Black goes queen g6, I'm sorry. Looked at the wrong move there. Now White plays the very amazing move, g5. Threatening knight f6. King over or up, doesn't matter. And rook here. Absolutely devastating. And if queen takes h5, well, we already know what happens. Knight f6. If Black plays bishop g7, knight e7. So we're seeing here that this outpost for this knight I'd say it's definitely worth that pawn that we gave up because there's so many threats here. With the knight coming either to e7 or f6, I mean, there's no defense here. There's absolutely none. h6 is tried, but rook takes h6. White doesn't care. We'll give it up. Queen takes g5. Because once again, black can't take on h6 because of knight e7. Look at this. Royal Forky. So black had to try queen takes g5. And after rook h5, black resigns. If you're curious as to what happens, well, queen g6 and you get queen h1. And this is threatening rook g1. So queen e6, rook h8, king g7, and queen h7 is checkmate. So this knight on its outpost proved to be a very, very valuable piece there. Alright, we're just going to download that PGN. For those that are new to the stream, if you do not have the book, we're starting something new with tier 1 subs. If you subscribe, you get the PGNs of all the games that we go over on stream. During our Saturday nights. Yeah, G5 was very, very cute. Alright, so our next game that we're going to look at is this one's going to be talking about an aggressive rook in the ending. And while I'm getting this one set up, now this one was played by Tarash. He had the white pieces and his opponent was Thorold. And this was played in Manchester in 1890. So this is an extremely old game. Unless you were born in 1980, then this is a very young game. Oh, and if you are on Chess TV and you want to be entered for a giveaway, we're going to do a giveaway. Give me 1 second here to get that set up. We're going to do 3 giveaways tonight. We're going to start with this next one here. Give me 1 second to get this up and running here. So how's everyone doing? What's everyone think of this new format of analyzing games and or studying books on stream? Feel free to let me know what you think. Where is... I was just looking at this earlier. Where is... What am I looking for? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Giveaways. Here we go. Alright, so the first giveaway is going to be a 1-month chess.com gold membership. We're going to go ahead and start that giveaway. So if you are in my Chess TV or my Twitch chat, you can enter by using !giveaway. That will enter you into a chance to win. It is open for 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to enter the raffle. If you're on Chess TV, I'll give you the link to my channel. You can just click in the on the video player, and it should bring you over to my channel if you want to be entered. But we do have 3 of these, 3 premium memberships to give away tonight. No Nonsense says they like. Again, you only have 5 minutes to get into the raffle. And you do have to be a follower of the stream, so you do have to click follow. Make sure you guys follow if you're enjoying what's going on. I know sometimes you can really get into a stream and enjoy it and forget to click that follow button. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure you click that follow button. Hey, how's it going? I or L, is that I or L? I can't ever tell. On my, that's I. I bike far. Hi. Now, there's a joke about me with the bike, so I don't know if you know me and you know the story and you made the username to make a joke. I don't know. If you did, I get it. But if you did not, then hi, I bike far. All right, so this game, again, Tarrasch is the white pieces against black, which is being played by Thorold in 1890 in Manchester. Now, this is going to be a French defense. Again, the theme on this one is aggressive rook in the ending. So each one of these games that are in this book has like a theme, like a principle that is going to teach you and let you see an example of. So this one, Tarrasch, I don't know how to say name, so I'm probably trashing the name, Tarrasch. But anyway, Tarrasch plays the following game as though he were giving a good friend a lesson in the art of winning an ending. In a rook and pawn ending, Tarrasch used to say the rook must be aggressive, must be used aggressively. It must either attack enemy pawns or give active support to the advance of its own pawns to the queen square. Okay, either I can't read or there's some words missing in that sentence. It might have been a little bit of both the first time I screwed that up, but the second time, there's some words missing. So I was trying to figure out what word was missing. I bike far. The fact that you laughed means that you are someone that knows that story. So, being who it is, No Nonsense is taking a guess on the opening. E4, E6, D4, D5, Knight D2. Crazy. It must be, it must be. E4, E6, D4, D5. And No Nonsense, you are correct. It is Knight D2. So here, with the help of an active rook that keeps the opponent under unremitting pressure, Tarrasch's king and pass pawn march methodically up the chessboard as they move forward step by step. The opponent's pieces are driven further and further back until they reach the very edge of the board. And in 1890, there might have been people that thought the earth was still flat, so the pieces could have fallen off the edge. So there, they can put up little resistance to the advance of the passed pawn. The classic simplicity of Tarrasch's technique and the conduct of this ending is so impressive as to make it, in the author's opinion, not mine, so in the author's opinion, the most instructive rook and pawn ending ever played. Of course, that's when this book was written, so there may have been better games now. So Tarsh prefers this knight d2 move to the normal, or to the usual knight c3, since the knight doesn't block, because this move blocks the c pawn. So Tarsh likes to play knight d2, supporting this pawn, but also still allowing c3. All right, the raffle is closed. Was there only one person that entered the raffle? Although my timer still shows that there's 22 seconds, so I don't know why it's saying you can't enter. I guess no one wants to win memberships. All right, c5 was played. So white plays e takes d5 and queen takes d5. So this is actually better. So queen takes d5 is actually better than c takes d5. Because after bishop b5 check, bishop d7, d takes e6, bishop takes b5, and now you have queen h5 threatening checkmate, as well as picking up your lost piece. And black can't take the pawn back. So you get queen e7, and now you get queen takes b5. And white's got a pretty good initiative here. All right, we're gonna pick a winner. All right, DJ, you have won a 1-month chess.com gold membership. Congratulations, I will get with you off the stream. I think I remember your chess.com username, but make sure you whisper that to me here on Twitch, and I'll make sure to give you that membership. All right, after this next game, we're gonna do a 1-month chess.com platinum membership. I hope I spelled platinum right. I don't think I did. All right, so that was why queen takes d5 was better. All right, so knight g f3, developing a piece. This is a temporary pawn sacrifice to gain time for quick development of the pieces. So c takes d4. Now bishop c4, very quickly getting developed here. Queen h5. So if we look at this, white has 3 pieces developed, and black only has the queen developed. And now castles, look at this. Already castle, 3 pieces developed, and what is black doing here? Oh, wow. You need your pieces if you want to win in chess. You cannot win with just your queen. In fact, you cannot even checkmate with just your queen. Well, I guess you could. If the king's on f1 and you play queen d1, and there's some pawns blocking the king, then fine. Okay, I get it. You can mate with just the queen. But you're not going to mate with just the queen when white has all these pieces. All right, black plays knight c6. In an effort to develop a piece and also keep pressure on these 2 squares. Some people might say, why don't we defend the pawn and hold on to our pawn? Well, after knight takes e5 and queen takes d1, yeah, bishop takes f7 check, king e7, and then rook takes d1, and now black's down a pawn, and probably pretty soon going to lose this pawn as well. And of course we don't play queen takes the knight because rook e1 will win the queen. So knight c6, develop a piece. Knight b3. I can pretty much tell you if you are down material, I'm sorry, if you're lagging in development, don't worry about protecting pawns if you're already up the pawn. If your opponent is giving you a pawn and you're behind in development, don't worry about protecting your pawn. Get your pieces out. Good rule of thumb. All right, knight b3 with a triple attack on the d pawn now. Here, let me draw the knight. No, I want to draw you this way. Oh, it doesn't let me draw it that way. Huh. It draws it the way it wants to draw it. Okay. Well, fine. All right, so triple attacked. So now e5. Now knight takes e5. Exclam. So why does that move work? Why can black not take? Because the queen's hanging, first of all. Queen trades. We still have like a in-between check. I guess we don't need to do that, do we? In fact, this looks like it loses a knight because after the queen trades and the knight takes. So this is actually what happened in the game. Queen takes, rook takes, and now knight takes e5. It looks like we just lost a piece. That's what it looks like. Right, no nonsense is on their chess game tonight. Because the rook e1 is played, it pins, and it wins because f4 can be played. So f6, simply guarding the knight, hoping maybe that white moves the rook again or blocks it, and then we can move the knight away. But white knows what they're doing, so they play f4. Now the threat is f takes e5, f takes e5, and after rook takes e5, it's going to be followed up with knight takes d4, and white will be the one that's ahead of pawn. So bishop b4, just simply attacking the rook. And this is not just a developing move, but this attack on the rook has to be met carefully if white wants to avoid being forced into a draw. What move would you suggest for white? Chat, let's go. Let's see what the viewers think. How should white handle this threat to his rook? Let's see if the viewers can see black's idea of the draw. And you know, I don't know, while we're waiting on the chat to come up with some moves, I don't know if there's any parents out in the stream. But if there's not, if you're thinking about being a parent, or if you are a parent, then if you are a parent, you'll probably relate to this. So my daughter is very sensitive when it comes to boo-boos, okay? Little, cuts, scrapes, whatever. Very sensitive to boo-boos, especially like if we have to put a band-aid on it, right? Because there's just blood coming out. Like we can't just let the kid run around with blood squirting all over the place. So she comes home the other day from school and she's got this band-aid on her finger, and she says, in like a very sad voice, "Papa, I got a boo-boo on my finger because I was picking at my skin and it started to bleed." I said, "Oh, okay." So the teacher just put a band-aid on it. She goes, "Yeah." I go, "Okay." I was like, "Well, let's not pick at her skin." I just thought maybe she just cut herself, like, because it was on her finger, just started bleeding everywhere. You get a paper cut and it's like, a little cut on the tip of your finger and you're bleeding everywhere. Well, a couple days have gone by. Today, we want to take out the band-aid because it's been on there a while. And she always freaks out when we got to take out the band-aid. She won't let us take out the band-aid. So I just grabbed the band-aid and ripped off the band-aid. My daughter said she was picking at her skin. I thought there was just a cut. I ripped off the band-aid. And I don't know what she thinks by picking at her skin means, but it literally looked like a finger was missing. I don't know what happened. But I quickly put that band-aid back on. So parents, to be, if you want kids, be warned. They do crazy things. Bishop d2, that is correct. That is correct, no nonsense. Bishop d2 is very important. How is my chat far behind here? Nope, I see my screen. Okay. Yes, bishop d2 is the correct way to handle this. If rook e2, the threat is that black plays bishop g4. And then if rook e4, then bishop f5. Rook e2, bishop g4. Because white is down the piece. Remember, white is down a piece. We have to keep the pin going. So we cannot play, white cannot play rook e2. Or, yeah, rook e2. So it has to be bishop d2. This is the move. This is the only move to avoid the draw. So good job, no nonsense. So after bishop takes d2, knight takes d2, bishop f5. Now we get our piece back. And white said, or black says, whew, I'm getting out of there. So we're gonna castle. But we're so scared right now, we're even gonna castle queenside because we can't even get to the king side. So now bishop d3. Bishop takes d3 and c takes d3. So white benefits in two ways by the exchanges of pieces. Number one, he rids black's active bishop. There's the only piece right now developed other than the rook. And white has open files for his queen rook. He has a c file. Quickly going to come into the game. F takes e5. And now the rook a to c1, taking advantage of the open file and the king. This prevents the king from moving toward the center for the ending. If he does, by playing king d7, there follows rook takes e5, king d6, rook e4, king d5, and rook c4, and this is gonna win another pawn and get this king in the center, threatening to skewer the king and pick up the rook. So this rook has the move, the king has the move or something, and yeah. So black cannot bring the king out to d7. So king b8 was played. Rook takes e5. Knight f6. Rook c to e1. Rook h to e8. The author says that maybe rook d7 was preferable to dispute possession of the 7th rank, because then if rook e7, then rook h to d8 at least would give black a fair chance to hold on to this game. But instead, this is what we get. We get rook takes and then knight takes. If instead black decides to trade down all the way, knight b3, and this pawn falls, and white will probably win that game very easily. So instead, knight takes, and now the theme of this game is aggressive rooks. So now we play rook e7. And here we go, a paralyzing move. Black must submit to the loss of a pawn. a6, knight b3, b6. This is to prevent the knight from coming in at a5, a5. For example, if instead, like king a7, knight a5, rook to b8, and knight c6 wins a whole rook. Because this move, we're attacking that pawn, so that's why rook b8, but that just wins this rook. So after b6, then knight takes d4, rook takes d4, rook takes e8, king c7. And white is now a pawn ahead, and that should be sufficient to win. If he's greedy though and wants to pick up another pawn or two, they could do that. White played rook e3, but if white wanted to play rook e7 check, king d6, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, rook d1 check, king f2, rook d2, king f3, rook takes b2, and now black has pretty good drawing chances because he's created some counterplay. He's going to get his own passed pawns on the queen queen side. White has his on the king side, but black's rook is also active as well as the king. So this is fairly good chances for black now to at least draw. Probably not, definitely still probably not going to win. But instead, so this is why white played rook e3. It holds on to the pawn on d3. Make sure that white stays up a pawn. And also, we're going to see how and why this works. This is a star move right here. King d7. Oops, I'm sorry. Where was I? Yeah, no, this is right. Yep. King f2. What just happened? Rook e3. King d7, right. Now king f2. g6. And now rook h3. Another beautiful move. This forces the h-pawn to advance, because we're threatening to take it with check. We could take with check and then still drop back and guard this pawn. So this is why this move is so good right now. It forces black to do something. So h5. And now watch this. White changes the guard of the d3 pawn by playing king e3. Look at this. Use tempo to allow his rook to get active, attack a pawn. Black had to defend that, and then white brought his king to guard the pawn so that now his rook can do things while his king babysits a pawn instead of the rook guarding the pawn. Very powerful and important move there. A very important concept. Let's look at that again. So g6. White doesn't want to keep his rook tied down to defending the pawn. So we have this move, rook h3, attacks a pawn, threatens to take it with check, so another tempo move. So black has to do something, and then white switches the guard. Now the king's guarding the pawn, the rook is now free to do what it wants to do. Very awesome move there. So now, yeah, this actually accomplishes 4 things. This move, or this whole idea, right? The king protects the pawn, thus freeing the rook for active duty. We know that. The king is brought closer to the center. Another important thing in endgames. Bring your king into the game. Black's rook, the blockader of the pawn, is now forced to retreat. Now this pawn can advance. It will be able to advance. Look at this, rook d6, and now d4. Look at this. We're advancing the pass pawn. Rook d6. Where rook e6 check, king d3, rook e1. This is an attempt to get behind these pawns and attack them. So rook g3, again, guards a pawn but also attacks a pawn. Rook e6. The rook must return to defend the g-pawn. If instead rook b1, king c2 just wins this pawn. Simply wins it. Rook a1 is no good, just a3, and then rook b1, and we still end up with king c2. Right, so rook e6, a very important move there. Now rook e3. An offer to exchange rooks. Black cannot dare to accept this, because if he trades this endgame, this is winning because we have a passed pawn, and then the king can use that to tie down the black king before going to launch up these other pawns. So instead, rook d6 is the move played by black, and then rook e5, rook f6, once more trying to get to the pawns. But now a4, this is mindful of the safety of his queenside pawns. Tarash moves them away from the second rank and from possible attacks by the rook. So rook f2, and now rook e2. Once again, black cannot afford to trade. Rook f6, b4. Now rook f1 and rook e5, rook f2. The rook persists in trying to settle down the 7th rank. An attack on the queenside pawns would be futile, as rook a1. If rook a1, that's simply met by a5. So rook f2, and now look at this move, rook g5, combining defense with attack. Attacking this pawn, but also defending his pawn as well. So rook f6 is now played, and then h3. This is an effective waiting move. While white wants to play d5, rook f4. Is annoying. This is very annoying, actually. Because now the king can't move up. And we're being attacked on the queenside pawns. Alright. So h3. So h3, king d6, king e4, rook e6 check, rook e5. Black cannot trade. This is not a good king and pawn in game for him. Now we play d5. Very, very bold move there. King d7. It cuts down the choice of reply. Now rook g5. It clears the e5 square for the king. We want our king to move up, so we clear it while also guarding a weak pawn and still continuing to attack a weak opponent pawn. So king d6 simply moves back. Now rook g3. There's really nothing else to offer there. Rook f3. Rook d6 again cannot trade. The rook must leave the only available open file, since an exchange would be disaster. And now white starts to advance to king. King e5. Threatening a quick win with rook to f7 check, king takes f7, and king takes d6. Followed by king e8 and king c7, and this pawn is coming home. So rook d8. Now d6. Again, black cannot take this. Look what happens, rook f7 check. And this is absolutely winning for white. So king d7. Now rook f7 check. King c8. Look at this. Oh my goodness. And just a few moves ago, black's pieces were in the center of the board. Now they are cut off on the back rank. The edge of the world. Rook c7 check. King b8. Rook c2. Rook e8 check. King f6. b5. d7. Rook h8. King e7. Rook h7 check. King d6. Rook h8. Now rook e2. And black resigns because No nonsense. Why? Hold on. Why not king d5 instead of rook c2? Alright, so no nonsense is asking why not king d5? I'm sure that works. No nonsense. It may be a little bit slower. Yeah, I mean that's still crushing. Yeah, still very crushing, but yeah, just the way that white plays it. White wants to get the rook here. This is obviously threatening the queen, and now we're threatening this. So I think it was just the simple idea of white saw a way to win and just went down that road instead of trying to calculate all of the lines after king d5, wondering if black has any counterplay, counting. Because I'm sure there's really no way to know for sure if you're going to, oh, this song is so annoying. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just maybe wasn't as clear for Tarsh, or maybe he just really wanted to humiliate his opponent and say, I can even move my rook away. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, king d5 is winning as well. No nonsense. End of the story. Alright guys, another giveaway, this time for a platinum membership to chess.com. Here it goes. Make sure you're in the Twitch chat. You have 5 minutes. Make sure you use the exclamation point giveaway to enter. You can only win one of these during a stream, so if you win one, you cannot win the other ones. I will remove you if you enter. Alright, make sure you guys jump in the Twitch chat, and you must be a follower of the stream. Make sure you enter this giveaway, 1 month platinum membership to chess.com. We've got one more game we're going to go over tonight, and then we're going to open this up for some viewer challenges. This next one is about the passed pawn. Unless everyone wants to keep going over games though. I'm okay with that too. Because I'm here for another 2 hours. We're only 1 hour into this. Alright, so this game is Rubinstein versus Duras. This was played in Vienna in 1908. Vienna, 1908. The drawing only lasts for about 3.5 more minutes. Make sure you get in. Everyone can enter, even if you're already a premium chess.com member. You can at least get a free month. We've got 40 viewers and no one entered. I don't know which you will enjoy more. Rubinstein's explosive combination early. Hi, I'll just call you Magical. I'm not sure if there's like a joke there that I'll read the name and then sound funny. But anyway, hi Magical, welcome to the stream. Magical asks, what would be your best tips for studying the game? Studying chess in general, or studying a game? Like a game played by someone. because I have two different answers for that. So I want to make sure I'm giving you the answer that you want. Oh, an Xbox gamer tag? Nice. No, you're fine. I wasn't sure if I was getting chess in general. Best way for studying the game, number one, make sure you know your basic checkmates. Make sure you know some tactical patterns. You can learn those anywhere. Online, chess.com has tactics trainer. You can get books. If you're looking to get like your basic mating patterns and things like that, chess, the book Chess, is very good for that. Lots of, like, I think over 5,300 something puzzles in total, like Maiden 1, Maiden 2, Maiden 3s. Tactical books, one book that I recommend is Chess Tactics for Champions and Chess Tactics for Students. If you're really new to the game, Chess Tactics for Students is very good, very basic patterns to pick up on. Then Chess Tactics for Champions by Susan Polgar is very good. It's a little more advanced tactics, so you can build on those that you learned from the other book. And then just reading over some games that are annotated, like this book that we're studying right now. Hey DJ, thanks so much, man. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. We'll see you on the next one. Yeah, the one we're studying right now, like the most instructive games ever played. If you're a very new beginner to the game, there's another book by the same author called what is it? Logical Chess. I think it's called Logical Chess Move by Move. I think that's what it's called. Sorry, my bookcase is like way over here, so if you see me like staring off into the distance, I'm trying to look over there and see it, but or I don't know, something, but like every single move is explained. It's a little repetitive once you get so far into it, because it's basically like the same thing, especially for like the first move or two. First like couple moves is always like the same thing, but it just gives you a good idea. At least you can run through that. So those are kind of my concepts. All right, no one's in the raffle. No one wants to enter. So we'll open it up again. We're opening it up again. We're doing a... Oh, if you have a decent understanding, yeah, for the next step, I mean, just analyzing your own games. There's some good books. Studying in-game, studying tactics. I mean, it's just kind of knowing what your weaknesses are. So what you're not good at, get better at that. Because you'll gain more by working on like things that you're not good at that are practical, like tactics. Like if you're still hanging pieces, or if you're still not seeing tactics in your games, it's always good to go over your games and find mistakes, and then you'll know what you need to work on. Like, that's the cool thing about chess, is it's easy to know what you need to work on if you go over your games. I highly recommend analyzing your games with your opponents if you play in person. If you play online, maybe it's a little different, but definitely going over your games though. What's looked on better in the chess community, a forced mate in 12 or a demoralization in 2? I mean, I don't know. I think what's looked on better, I mean, I don't think anyone likes seeing people just getting demoralized in chess, because we've all been there. I think being able to see a forced mate in 12 is looked on better, because more people are like amazed by that than necessarily just someone getting destroyed in 2 ways. So, but that's just me. Yeah, and I'm working on doing a like a recommended books list. Like there's several out there by some grandmasters and stuff for title players, but I don't think there's any for like players like me who moved up from 1200 to 1700 over the board rating, and like what I used, and things like that. So a lot of them are like chess coaches or grandmasters that are recommending books that haven't really maybe haven't actually studied through them themselves, but give them to their students. And but yeah, I'm gonna work on that as well. So. All right, we're gonna close the entries. And we're gonna pick our winner, which I believe is the only other one, Magical. Congratulations for winning the 1 month chess.com Platinum membership. Make sure you whisper me your chess.com username so I can get that to you. Thanks so much for entering. After this game, we're gonna give away the 1 month Diamond membership to chess.com. After this game, the passed pawn, Rubinstein versus Dross, 1908, Vienna, let's go. Again, I don't know which you will enjoy more, Rubinstein's explosive combination early in the game to win a pawn or his skillful play thereafter to exploit his advantage. The combination involving a queen sacrifice is brilliant and clear cut. The subsequent strategy of winning with an extra pawn may be summed up as follows. Rubinstein simplifies the position by exchanging as many pieces as possible. He returns the extra pawn on one wing to create a passed pawn on the other. He then rushes the passed pawn to the queen square. Alright, let's go. D4. D5. Knight F3. Again, Rubinstein has the white pieces. I guess you see that, don't you? Yeah, okay. D4, D5. Knight F3, C5. E3. Knight F6. D takes C5. Queen A5 check. This is called a fork. Picking up the pawn. The queen should not come into play so soon. A safer way to regain the pawn is by the simple just playing E6 instead. Alright, knight B to D2. And now queen takes C5. A3, queen C7, C4. D takes C4. This move not only surrenders the center, but helps white develop his pieces. A better move would have been just to play E6. Alright, now knight takes C4. That's interesting because I think I would have played knight takes or bishop takes C4 here. I'm curious why white did not take that way. Am I missing something? Because my thought would be just to develop and castle. But white may have had some other plans. I mean, this is not a bad move. It's not like it loses or anything. I would just think bishop takes c4 would have been better. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Here, let's do this. Let's open up this. Let's do this. Let's open up the raffle while I'm going over the game. Maybe people aren't wanting to enter raffle while as we finish a game. So we'll open up the raffle while we're going over the game. So you have the entire game to enter the raffle, enter the giveaway. There you go. This is for a 1 month chess.com Diamond membership. You can enter the whole time while the game's going, and I'll end it and draw after the game is over. How about that? There we go. Maybe I'm learning something. Maybe I'm learning something as I go along. All right. So anyway, knight takes c4. Now bishop g4. Now this could have been a while. And I will say magical. You can't win two giveaways in the same stream, just to make it fair. But you can enter, but I'll just have to take you out. So, but all right, there we go. Now we're getting some people. Yeah, see, I learned. All you gotta do is tell me, chat. All you gotta do is tell me. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. There we go. 2 people entered already. Look at that. All right. Bishop g4. Knights before bishops, advised Lasker way back in 1895. But some people just won't listen. b4, knight c6. Why not take? Knight c6, bishop b2, simply developing pieces here, b5. A nervous attempt to force the knight to retreat, but Rubinstein has other plans for the piece. Its next move initiates a spectacular combination. Knight c to e5. Say what? Knight c to e5. I don't think I could do that move. Knight c to e5. Chess TV chat. By the way, I do see you. So if you are in Chess TV chat, I do have you up and I do see you. So if you want to talk, you feel free to yabba away. Knight takes e5. Knight takes e5. No nonsense is tracking things tonight. Now bishop takes b5. Now normally this is good because normally the queen's on d8 and this knight is not here. In that case, black is forced to play queen to d7. In this position though, black does have knight d7. Now, chat, we're going to ask you to think here. If king to d8, there's a very spectacular move. What do you think? What are some moves here? What are some combinational moves where white could win very spectacularly? No nonsense is going with rook takes d1, king c8, and then rook c1. That's a good thought there, yeah, for sure. Right, picking up your queen. Although at that point, don't you lose a rook, right? Basically, you've done a queen trade, but given up a rook. Or the exchange, right? So, rook takes d1, king c8, bishop a6, king b8, pretty much forced, and now knight c6. Queen has the take. Bishop e5. Queen here, and then rook c1 with a mate coming. No way to stop it. So you can't go king d8. You'll get blown off the board. All right, so knight d7. Bishop takes d7. Ah, no, queen. Yeah, queen takes d7. Because if king d8, then you still end up with this. And this is still essentially the same thing. I'm going to go bishop b5, probably check. King's going to step over, and then we get bishop a5, and we still get all those, that same attack. So queen has to take. Knight takes. And now bishop h5, getting your bishop back into the game. So now, after all of that, white is up a pawn. White is up a pawn. So now knight e5, rook c8, g4, and bishop g6. So white simply captures the bishop. So the two bishops might have enabled black to put up a good deal of resistance. So Rubinstein removes one of them. In return, black gets an open file for his king rook. So we get an open file in exchange for giving up the bishop pair. So now bishop d4, simply attacking the pawn on a7 and putting our bishop at least on a square where it's protected. As I'm pretty sure white wants to play one of these moves and not allow a fork to happen. So a6, now king d2. The king moves towards the center to take an active part in the endgame. f6. This is preparing to evict the bishop with e5, while also opening up some squares for his own bishop. So rook a to c1. So this puts the question to black. You must either exchange rooks or abandon control of the open file. Well, we exchange rooks and abandon control of the open file. So now this is much better than capturing with the king. I know I would be tempted to take back with the king simply because I want to keep guarding my pawn on h2. But you have to remember, in this position you're already up a pawn over here on the queen side. Doubled pawns, even though this is more pawns than this, these are doubled, so you're not really up a pawn, essentially. So taking with the rook is fine. Now e5, continuing with black's idea of evicting this rook, or this bishop, sorry, if I knew what my pieces were. If instead black were to take on h2, I think that's a very natural move. You want to come in here as well, but then after rook here, king f7, and king e2, e5, bishop to c5, bishop takes c5, and rook takes c5, rook h8 to come back and help try and guard this pawn. Rook c7 check, king e6, and now rook a7. And white is, yeah, this is going to be too powerful for black. It's going to be too much. So we don't take on h2. We play e5 instead. Now bishop c5, and now we play rook takes h2 by black. Bishop takes f8, king takes f8, king e2, guarding our pawn on f2. Now e4, rook c6, rook g2, attacking this pawn. Rook takes a6, rook takes g4. Material is even, but Rubinstein has a great positional advantage in his two connected passed pawns. Either of them is a potential queen. Don't forget, guys, you can enter the giveaway. Don't forget about the giveaway for a 1-month diamond membership. Use the exclamation point giveaway. Why not rook takes f2 check before recapturing the bishop? All right, no nonsense. So let's look at that then. Okay, rook takes f2. That's a good question. After king e1. I mean, when we go here, then we get our bishop away. Yep. All right. But yeah, no, good question. No nonsense. It's a good question, good question. Don't be afraid to ask questions in the chat. All right, let's see here. King, where was I? King takes f8, king e2, e4. Stopping the king from coming in. We're stepping up now. Now rook c6, rook g2, rook takes, rook takes. All right, material's even, but Rubinstein's passed pawns are going to be too much here. Rook a7. Almost instinctively, the rook hastens to seize control of the 7th rank. So again, we're seeing the power of the rook on the 7th rank. Again, very important concept. Rook g1, b5. Oh, rook g1, I'm sorry, not rook g2. Rook g1, b5, rook b1, a4, g5, rook b7, now rook a1. Now this is very, very instructional because I feel like there's a lot of times when we get into these type of positions as low rated players, and sometimes we'll just forget how to handle this, and then we'll just simply switch our rook back to a7. Instead, we should play rook b, or just b6 here. Rubinstein doesn't waste time saving both pawns, because one pawn in the right hand is enough to win. So rook takes a4, and now rook a7. Threatening this, because if rook b4 now, and then we get b7, and we're threatening to play a check and then promote. And then if the king, let's say rook b4, b7, the king steps up, then you promote with the discovered check. And that's even worse. Rook b4, b7. Threatening to win with rook a8 check. g4. I mean, there's nothing else better here. So now this should be an easy one for anybody and everybody. If you know your black still played on though. Rook e8, king f5, and now king f1. And black resigned in this position here. You would have played rook a6. Yeah, no nonsense, absolutely. I think that's, I mean, that's a very good point there. Most people would have played like rook a7 and then, but I guess the point is here that you could play, oh, I see what you're saying. Play rook a6 and then you would work down the board that way. I see. I think that might be a little slow here though, because king e7 could come in, and like let's say you started doing this. a5, you go king c6. Yeah, I think that starts to allow the black king into the game. I think white's still winning here with like rook a7, and you'll eat up the pawns over here, but it just allows a little more play. But yes, it is something that, you know, I think anyone would try. So rook b7, rook a1, very, very beautiful move here. Rook takes a4, rook a7, and now, I mean, you're pushing, and yeah, so you just win here. And black resigned. I mean, I don't think anyone needs to see this, but if g3, f takes g3, king g4, king g2, f5, Rook e7, g5, rook g7, f4, he takes f4, e3, and then checkmate. So, pretty self-explanatory there. All right, so that is the end of the game. We'll give everyone one more minute here if you want to enter the raffle. This is for a 1-month premium membership, diamond membership to chess.com. And then we can keep analyzing games, or we can go over. I can start playing viewers. I'll leave that up to the chat. If you had a good time going over these games, we'll keep doing that. All right, we're about to close the raffle in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Now, Magical Pair did enter again, but if they get picked, then we'll have to pick someone else here. All right, Magical Pair. Cannot let you win. Magical Pair, why do you keep winning? There's 2 of you in here. Oh my goodness, Magical Pair. Why can I not remove you? Alright, there's only one other person in here. ArchMaj81. ArchMaj81. If you're still in the stream, you have won. ArchMaj81. Are you still in the stream? If you're not, I will have to I do not see Arjmanj. All right. We're going to keep going with our instructional games. All right, so this one, the theme of this one is weak pawns, weak squares, and mighty knights. This was played by white was Madison and Nimzovich had the black pieces. This was played in Carlsbad 1929. And this was a Nimzo Indian defense. Alright, let's do it. It is amazing how much instructive strategy Nimzovich can pack into a mere 23 moves. Let's flip it. Oh, now let's flip it. There we go. Alright, 23 moves this game lasted. His attack on a doubled pawn leads to a weakening of a key square. On this important square, Nimzovich plants a knight so firmly that it cannot be dislodged. He then forces open a file for the benefit of his queen rook. With that sector under control, he switches the king knight over to the center of the board. The power generated by the centralized knights is devastating. So great is the effect that Madison feels compelled to resign. Though he hasn't lost so much even as a pawn, he hasn't even lost a piece, he resigns in 23 moves. Is chess of this sort an art or a science? In the hands of a craftsman like Nimzovich, it may be either. Alright, d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, and bishop b4. Now this is the Nimzo Indian. Knight f3, bishop takes, pawn takes. So the idea is that even though you give up the bishop pair, is you create this weakness here, doubled pawns and an isolated pawn for white, in exchange for the bishop pair and a lot better pawn structure. And quick development as well. There's a whole lot more things with the Nimzo Indian that I don't really know, but those are the very basics that kind of get you started. So exchange which probably pleases both parties. White, because he has the two bishops and an open file for his queen rook. It pleases black because he has created a weakness, a doubled pawn in his opponent's position. d6. Queen c2, queen e7. So black is ready to meet e4 with e5, securing a fair share of the center. So bishop a3. This has two objectives in mind. To prevent e5, after which white could just play d takes e5, and black could not recapture because of the pin on that pawn. And also to be able to advance c5 with the idea of dissolving the doubled pawn. So black instead plays c5 himself. This fixes white's pawn at c4, making it a stationary target at which Nimzovich can aim an attack. So g3. White prepares to fianchetto the bishop and control the long diagonal. Ordinarily this is a commendable development, but here this has a drawback of depriving the weak pawn at c4 of a defender. By playing bishop to g2, you now remove a piece that could defend that pawn. A better course was probably e4, followed by bishop to d3. So b6. Black, of course, intends to dispute control of the diagonal. It's like a custody battle. They are fighting. They want to fight over control of this diagonal. Bishop d2, bishop b7. They both simply castle. We're at move 10 already, in 13 moves. Spoiler alert, white resigns. Knight h4. White is anxious to exchange bishop since Nimzovich has more scope and bears down together with the knight so strongly on the square e4. A better way to bring about an exchange, though, was knight d2. The knight would then not only exert more influence on the center, but would be a useful protector of the frail c4 pawn. Bishop takes g2 and king takes g2. Again, should have taken with the knight so that the knight could get back into the game. Because then if knight c6, e4, knight a5, and then knight e3 again to help guard c4. Instead of king takes. Now queen b7 check, king g1. Now white gets into difficulties after this. The right move again was knight f3. Just bring the knight back. The knight on the rim is oh so dim, right? Just bring the knight back. Some people might ask, why can't we just play f3? Well, you run into this issue here. g5, queen d2, h6. It's not that dangerous, I guess. I mean, yes, you're going to lose a piece, but you're also weakening your own king side. So maybe the author suggested this move, but I don't know. I mean, after king f2, if I take this, I don't know. I feel like this just seems very weakening of my king side. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that move, but that's what the author suggested. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that move. But anyway, king g1 was played. Queen a6. This attacks the bishop pawn, or the bishop and the pawn. I'm sorry, the bishop pawn, forcing queen b3. Now knight c6. And now we'll play rook f to d1. Knight a5. Queen b5. So queen takes and pawn takes. Now knight c4. This is move 17. And 6 moves. White resigns in 6 moves, guys. The doubled pawn has been dissolved. So white's done a great job at dissolving the weakness of the pawn. However, the weakness of the square on which it stood remained. So we just saw a game earlier in the stream where there was a knight on d5. It was the outpost because no pawns can attack a knight, which means it is an outpost. Now, in this game, we're seeing an example of a knight take up another type of outpost on c4. And Nimzowitsch anchors his knight on this vital square, and with that move, he secures new advantages. He secures 4 advantages. Ready? Here they come. The knight is posted aggressively. It attacks the bishop and drives it back to the original square. It's the only square for the bishop. The knight is also posted defensively. It protects the d pawn and the b pawn. Man, if I could draw arrows. Against possible attack. The knight has a great deal of influence on the important central squares. So all of these squares. And the knight cannot be dislodged by pawns, nor the bishop. This bishop's a dark square and it's on a light square. It cannot be removed. Alright, so bishop c1. And now a6. This forces open the a file since white must capture or lose a pawn. So obviously white captures. And now the a file has been opened up and the rook has a fine target looking down at the a pawn here. We're going to double up and easily do well here. No nonsense says knight c4 is also blockading the pawn, preventing them from connecting, leaving b5 weak. Yes, absolutely. Now why must white lose a pawn here? Why does he recapture? If he plays a4, we take and this pawn is pinned now. Because the bishop's back on c1, interrupting the rook's communications. Now would just drop an entire rook. So that's why white has to take here, even though it's not an ideal move. What is this song? Let's get that out of here. Hopefully this one's better. Alright, rook takes a6. Now d takes c5. B takes c5. Again, this is why this knight was so important here. It's guarding d6 here. Knight G2. Finally, White says, hey, I forgot about my knight. I need to get him back into the game. This is move 21, folks. Move 21, and White resigns on move 23. Now, Knight D5. Attacking C3. A comparison of the position shows the superiority of Black's in that his knights are strongly centralized, and his rooks can operate on the two open files. White's minor pieces are widely scattered. What are they doing? We don't know. And his rooks are out of touch with each other. They're not even talking. It's like they got upset. The knight's unprotected though. Why didn't White target that knight? How do you target this knight, David? I don't see how you target this knight. You have nothing to target it with. You cannot play rook because the pawn guards these squares. This bishop is the dark square. It's on a light square. Yeah, I mean there's no way to attack the knight. Yeah, no, I mean he should have moved the knight like 10 moves ago when he was getting, yeah, on move 12 is when White should have moved this knight to capture back. Alright, so now we play rook d3, rook f to a8, e4 finally, it's coming in here, but now knight e5, and White resigns in this position. There's no good moves. You're threatening the rook. This pawn's about to fall. If you move the rook back to guard the pawn, then we have knight f3 check. If you simply go back, we take on c3 first. Rook f1. Now knight takes a2. Rook takes a2. Rook takes a2. Oh, I'm sorry. I take that back. We have knight f3 first. King h1. And then you take on a2. And this is too much. This is going to be too much for black, or for White. So yeah. Knight e5 and resigns. 23 moves. Not even down material. Absolutely brilliant. Hey, sorry about that. One. I think if you just type chess.com like normal, I think that would have worked. Sorry. Cool. And thanks everyone for the follows, by the way. I do appreciate everyone following. If you're new to the stream. Well, we're not doing links in the chat. If they're not real links like .com, things like that, we'll get. Right here, hold on. Yeah, you can write out in chess.com. That's fine. You can write out in chess.com. You just can't write out chessbase.com, things like that. Like just do chess.com. Chess.com works if you write just normal. You're trying to write it differently. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if it's like chess.com or I don't know, some other links, just type them normally. If you're not sure, you can also whisper it to me, and then I'll post it in the chat. If you're not entirely sure. But yeah, like YouTube, chess.com, things like that should be fine. All right, next game. So this one is about finesse. In the ending, we have, who do we have with the white pieces? We have Domenech. I've never even heard of this person, I don't think. Against Flo. The arena, 24 hours. Okay, congratulations on the arena. Alrighty, this was played in Roses, 1935. Let's do it. For a description of Flo's skill in this game, I commend you to Rajet the source, where you will find the source. Alrighty. Oh gosh, I can't see your color there. I need to, hold on. Let me make this where I can read. I can actually see the colors. My rating on chess.com, Irene, thanks so much for the follow. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. And then Sliden, how are you doing? By the way, my rating on chess.com is about 1,500 blitz. I'm about 1,700 and over the board rating though, so all right. Oh, I'm doing good, Irene. I'm glad you're doing well. Thanks so much for stopping by the stream. Yeah, I've got to fix this here. Can I can't do anything over here. Okay. Irene, can I play a game with you? Yeah, I normally do viewer challenges, but not tonight. We're just doing game analysis. I might do it in the last little bit, but not tonight. I don't think so. Or I will accept your friend challenge. I assume that was you on chess.com. Send me a friend request. Yes, Chestnutbird is where I am everywhere. I am Chestnutbird on Twitter, Twitch, chess.com, Instagram. Yeah, anywhere and everywhere online. If you look for Chestnutbird, it's probably me. So we are going to get into our next game. All right, let's do it. Oh, you've got the Ben Feingold emotes. Nice, nice. All right, so this is game 7. Finesse in the ending. Domenech versus Flo. I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly, but it's what we're going with. All right. Throughout the play, there are delightful finesses and touches of originality. Who but slow Flo would interrupt a series of exchanges, force an irreparable weakness, and then proceed to complete the exchanges. To my mind, this quiet little positional game, played with cry-styling clarity, outshines all the blazing combinations of a dozen wide-open slam-bang attacking games. A dozen wide-open slam-bang attacking games. If anyone can say that 5 times fast. Sure, go ahead. Hi, Sujit Kumars in Chess TV chat. How are you doing? Alright, so we have e4, c5. We're playing the Sicilian in this one. So knight f3, e6, c4. An attempt to get the Marazzi bind, which is no improvement on the usual d4. A move has been wasted that should have been devoted to straightforward development. Sorry. In the Kindle version of this book, some of the words are spaced out, so development. While the pawn at c4 restricts the scope of white's king's bishop. Alright, knight c6. Now d4. C takes d4, knight takes d4. And knight f6. Knight takes c6. Apparently white does not care to play knight c3, which is like the normal move. Alright, apparently white does not care to play knight c3 when bishop c4, or bishop b4, I'm sorry, and reply puts him on the defensive. He would have to guard against knight takes e4, as well as bishop takes c3, b takes c3, saddling him with doubled pawns. So d takes c6. Geniuses do not have to capture towards the center. Did you hear that? If you're a genius, you don't have to capture towards the center. You're doing well, Susan Kamar's in Chess TV chat. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you're doing well. All right, we're gonna open up the giveaway for the Diamond membership because our winner was not here. Make sure you guys enter. Not sure how to whisper, Real One Bad Ninja. It is on if you're on desktop, you could just click on, I guess I'm not in the chat. You could go to viewer list. You could click on viewers, click on Chess Nerdbird, and then it should pop up where you can whisper. Whisper somebody. But other than that, I'm not sure if you're on something else. All right, if you guys want to enter the giveaway, make sure you use ! giveaway in the Twitch chat. You do have to be a follower of the stream to win. It's a 1-month Diamond membership. We'll leave that open until this game is over. You're on PC? Yeah, no, I'm not sure. There you go. You should be able to click my name now, and then that should allow you to whisper. I don't know. Maybe because I'm the streamer, maybe it doesn't give you an option. I don't know. You can also just message me on chess.com. You can do that. That would work as well. Okay. Hey, 1337 Chess King, you have to come to the Twitch channel and follow the stream on Twitch. I just put the link to the Twitch channel in the Chess TV chat. So yep, you have to come in there. All right. So after d takes c6, geniuses do not have to capture towards center. Black wants the d file open so that he can exert pressure on white's d3 and d4 squares. Both of these squares have been weakened by white's premature third move. So by moving c4, white has weakened these two squares. These weaknesses are almost imperceptible, and it is difficult at this early stage to see how black can possibly exploit them, but he does so, and beautifully. Queen takes d8, king takes d8. Right? So black has lost the privilege of castling, but it is of no consequence. The king is more useful in the center than hidden away in a corner. With queens off the board, there's little danger of the king running into a mating attack. You couldn't find my fame anywhere. It's because I don't have fame. Nah, I know what you meant, real ninja. Couldn't find my name. I got it. I got it. But yes, my fame is not there to be found. It is not anywhere. Alright, f3. This saves the e-pawn, but it limits still more the scope of white's king's... of the bishop. The light squared bishop. How about that? Let's just say the light squared bishop. The more white's pawns are on these squares, the less freedom this guy has. He's only got these two squares. It would take him quite a bit of time to get over here, and even then, on these squares, he doesn't have anywhere to go. Alright, so now black plays e5. Exclam. Hey, what's up? Kara, oh my goodness, I always mess up these names. I'm so sorry. I'm like the worst when it comes to trying to read names. Twitch names. I'm so sorry. Kara. I just call you Kara. Will that work? How are you doing tonight? Welcome to the stream. Thanks so much for stopping by and saying hi. We're doing a giveaway. If you use the command exclamation point giveaway, you'll enter for a chance to win a 1-month diamond membership to chess.com. Now this is a little move. This is a very little move. E5 is a very little move. If you're new to the stream, by the way, I guess I should make an announcement. If you're new to the stream, we're getting some new people in here. We are going over the book that you're seeing down below. Is this the right way that I'm pointing? That way? I don't know. Whichever way I'm pointing. The most instructive games of chess ever played. We're on game 6, I believe, right now. Or game 7. I don't know. I forget which game it is. But, oh, thanks, Bad Ninja. So that looks nice and clean. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So yeah, so we're going over some games in the book and just analyzing them. To my right. Boom. All right, thanks. I can't see my streaming software, so yeah, there we go. To the right. To the right, to the right. All right. And anyway, so we're in the middle of this game right now. It was a Sicilian defense where white played an early c4, which has weakened these squares, and so black was willing to offer a trade of queens so that we could open up this file, and with the queens off the board, black's not worried about getting checkmated quickly. White protected their e4 pawn with the move f3, which is hemming in this bishop, and so now black plays e5. A very subtle move, but it accomplishes a lot, and this is what it does. It releases the queen bishop. Sorry. It releases this bishop, which can now get to e6 and have a very good attacking square. It fixes the white e-pawn at e4, preventing it from ever coming to e5, opening up some lines for its own bishop, and it puts pressure on d4, one of the weak squares in white's position. And now white plays bishop e3, black plays king c7, white plays a3. White's idea may have been to prevent bishop b4 check. That may have been the idea. A move his opponent really has no intention of making anyway, and so time is wasted, and another weakness is created. There's an a-hole at b3. I'm just kidding. There's a hole. There's a hole at b3. Not an a-hole. Just a hole. Hey, beep. Beep. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream in Chess TV chat. How are you doing? For those new to the stream as well, we are doing a 1 month giveaway for chess.com diamond membership. All you have to do is enter exclamation point giveaway in the Twitch chat. If you're on Chess TV, you must come over to the Twitch channel. You must click the little follow button at the top, and then you can win. Yes, 100 days of chess. For those that don't know anything about my 100 days of chess, I will put that into the chat for you as well. You can read about that. We're doing tactics 30 minutes a day, every single day for 100 days, at least 30 minutes a day for 100 days straight. There's some more rules you can read about at that blog post though. All the videos are being posted to my YouTube channel. So you can go subscribe to my YouTube channel and see all of those videos. All right, so bishop e3, king c7, a3, white's idea. There's a hole on b3. This will cause white bitter regret later on. The simple knight c3, just developing a piece, would have been a lot better. It would have been a lot better. Now knight d7. And speaking of the stream and the layout and the look and all that, we're actually getting ready to kind of revamp the channel a little bit. Maybe not the overlay so much. I might change some things here and there, but for the most part, I think it's very clean, very good looking. But we are going to be adding some new things to the stream. We're changing things up a little bit. So. I'm still working on those things, but I should have that launching at the end of October, beginning of November, I'm hoping. So, on the hard chess.com tactics are like tactics to use to win games. Chess.com tactics are like tactics to use to win games. Well, I'm using the chess.com tactics trainer. But, yeah. So I'm not sure what that means, I guess. But anyway, knight d7. The point of this is that will enable black to play bishop c5 and force an exchange of bishops. This will eliminate white's good bishop and leave him with the one that is ineffective. So this is a good bishop. We could trade off bishops and leave white with this terrible bishop. Alright, so knight d2, a5. The pawn is to advance to a4, where it will have a crippling effect on white's queen side. Yeah, so I do 30 minutes of tactics on chess.com and upload the videos to YouTube. There's plenty of people doing it, doing the 100 days of chess on Twitter. If you just search for hashtag 100 days of chess, you'll see everyone who's taking part in the challenge. So yeah, and you can join as well. We started October 15th, but you can start anytime. If you're looking to get better at chess, it's one of the best things you can do is just at least do tactics every single day. All right, now bishop e2, and now a4. King f2. Black to move here, and bishop c5. Now this forces an exchange which will leave black in control of the black squares. Bishop takes c5, knight takes c5, Rook A to C1. And now bishop E6. The bishop is aggressive, while white's bishop is passive. This bishop is like the Broncos defense. This is like the Panthers in the Super Bowl that year that the Panthers lost the Super Bowl. Don't talk to me about that game. Rook H to D1. Rook H to D8. Intending to double rooks on the D file. If white tries to dispute control of the file, then white could lose a pawn. You do have to be in the chat when I close the giveaway after this game to win the diamond membership. So make sure you don't go anywhere, because as soon as we're finished with this game, we're gonna do the drawing. King E3, Rook D7, now G3. So this is a very kind of slow maneuvering game, which I think are the toughest for like players around my rating, or at least I have a hard time with these type of games. Like I want something tactical. I want this like slow build up and stuff is just not good for me. Real one, that ninja, I think you've already entered, so yeah, you can't enter twice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're already entered. Real one, bad ninja. Yes, you are. You are already in there. You can only enter one time. Only one time. Hey, no worries, no worries. Might as well try, right? Right? If I got open for multiple entries, you might as well get in there as many times as you can. But no, just one time. Oh, oops, not Rook A to D8. I'm sorry, not Rook A to D8. Rook A to D8. So now Black has a very powerful grip on the D file. His opponent can do little but sit tight and await developments. So now F4. It's a perfectly natural move, but it opens the door to a surprisingly delayed action combination. It is one that is unique, so far as I know, in the literature of chess, and by I know, that is the words of the author, not me. This is the position with Black to play and win. Alright chat, you have a chance to see if you can find the winning tactics here. I'll give you a second to look it over and put your answer, put your ideas in the chat. This is meant to be interactive, not just me. If you're new to the stream, feel free to click that follow button, number one, so you can get into the giveaway, but also number two, to stay up to date when we go live. We go live, our schedule is every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Saturdays we're also on Chess TV, so if you're in the Chess TV chat and you're always looking for something to do on Saturday night, for whatever reason, then know that I will be here for you every Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern time, all the way until 1 a.m. Eastern time, every single Saturday, barring any issues in life that we have come up that prevent us from doing this. But yeah, every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Saturdays are going to be just this right here. We're going to be studying books, so whether it's this book or looking at some other books. I've got like 100 some books in my Kindle library, so we can probably do this until forever in a day. Wednesdays and Thursdays, I haven't figured out exactly what I want to do on those days yet, but if you have suggestions or ideas that you like, I do play viewers. We do viewer challenges, things like that. We do those. I mean, those are pretty much every other stream that I do. But Arena Kings, we're in those occasionally. If we can make those, Wednesdays are usually the ones that we can make. But we'll never be able to make the Monday Arena Kings. And maybe some Fridays in November we'll be able to make those Arena Kings. Real one, Bad Ninja, you said maybe a rook move. Perhaps, but the move is e takes f4. Oh, here's Quinn here. Rook d3 check. Rook d3 check. I guess you're saying bishop takes. We were saying before it is white to move. So b4, maybe you mean b5. Real one, bad ninja. Maybe you mean. Alright, Quinn suggesting this here. And then where does the king go? Maybe the king just goes here. Bishop g4. I see what you're saying. That move wouldn't work. Yeah, so okay, so then I would just go here, right? Oh, I see what you're saying though. And then bishop g4. And then this. Okay, yeah, I guess I mean I'm thinking this would be fine though, because you just give back the material. Like everything's fine here, I would think. Yeah, so that's not gonna work there. That won't work there. Quinn, no, this is just a game. This is actually a game here. Not a problem. It's a game. There's a real game played. We're just in the middle of the game. So the move is actually e takes f4. Check. Pawn takes. Now, if you were to play king takes, you immediately lose because of rook takes. Rook takes that on d2, right? So, what is this song? This song has got to go. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Oh. When a bad song stops playing, it almost feels like that piece of popcorn that you had stuck in your teeth that you get out, and it just feels so good that it's finally out. That's what that bad annoying song going away feels like for me. So I apologize, but I'm really good at drowning out annoying sounds. So once it gets annoying, immediately it cuts off, like I don't hear it, and then like eventually I'll hear it again though, and then it's got to go. So if there's a song that is annoying, please don't hesitate in the chat to tell me to turn the song off. All right, G takes f4. All right, now rook d3 check. That song reminded me of Fulgore from Killer Instinct. I'm not sure of that song. I'd have to look that up. All right, let's see here. Somebody's saying no nonsense. At what point no nonsense? Here, I'm going back up here. No nonsense. Take me through. Take me through. We take, and now what? Are you saying rook takes d2 here? Rook takes d2? Let me see if this is it. Rook takes d2, rook takes d2, rook takes d2. So rook takes, rook takes, rook takes. King takes knight b3 check. Oh, yeah. So you are talking about here. So I believe no nonsense is talking about this stuff here. King takes and then knight here. Knight check king. Yeah, this is looks very drawish maybe. I mean, there's some type of, there's something to say for this type of structure, and Black's definitely got the better pawn structure, but yeah, I'm not sure if Black can make any progress really. Yeah, in this position. So yeah, that looks a little more drawish. Just to go down and trade everything off after you've tried to work through. So, but good line though. No nonsense. I mean, yeah, it definitely looks pretty good. And if you weren't sure, I'd say it's definitely a good line to go down into. You know, to make sure, especially if you don't calculate this properly, then obviously this could look dangerous to give up the exchange. Okay, and now king f2. So we're actually going into the line that Q Hen had suggested earlier. So now we're back in this line. So Q Hen, you had the right idea for sure. So good job. Good job. We just had to play the pawn takes first. Pawn takes first, and I haven't played through this, so I'm not sure exactly why just yet. So now this threatens a quick finish by the simplification of bishop takes, rook takes. Here, bishop takes d1, rook takes d1, rook takes knight, and then knight takes e4, followed by knight takes d2. So white plays e5. So white is practically in Zugzwang, which is basically you have to move, but you don't want to move. So if the king rook moves, so if this rook moves, we win a knight. Plain and simple. If the knight moves to f3 to shield the rook from the bishop, then you just have rook takes f3. Again, you win a piece. And if the queen rook moves, if the queen rooks move, then again you take here. If you go here, I still take that, you take and I take. It's all fine. So yeah, white is in terrible Zugzwang. Grateful for small favors, white advances the e-pawn to rescue it from immediate danger of capture. So okay, so now rook takes, bishop takes d1, rook takes d1. Now one would expect forward to continue with knight b3. So they're saying that this would be the move that we should expect Black to play. Knight b3, king e2, rook takes d2, rook takes d2, knight takes d2, king takes d2, and that would leave Black with a slightly superior position. Whether Floor could squeeze a win out of it is doubtful, even though he was very skilled in the endgame. So Black does bring the knight to b3, but Floor does to clear away all the pieces. But first his knight will make two moves that will create irreparable weaknesses in white's pawn position. Watch the knight do some fancy stepping. Alright, knight e6. Like a half Zugzwang. A half Zugzwang. Knight e6. Attacking this pawn. So it advances. Now, knight d4. Again, attacking the pawn. So f6. Only move. G takes f6. E takes f6. And now we go knight b3. Let's look at this knight. Look at this knight go. Oh, oops, I need to promote this variation. There we go, okay. Look at this. Look at this knight. Attacks the pawn. Attacks the pawn. All of this just to get to B3. When it could have gotten to B3 immediately. Incredible. It plants a piece in the hole created by White's 10th move. The knight likes to get into the hole on the B file. Alright, so King E2. Now we trade everything down. And King D6. And White resigns. The rest is a matter of counting moves. In order that White may queen a pawn, he must capture the B. White has to capture these pawns. So that's 6 moves. So 1, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 moves. Then he's got to move his king away. So there's 7. And then he's got to move this pawn. There's 8, 9, 10, 11 moves. That's 11 moves total. Black, meanwhile, captures this pawn in 2 moves. Steps his king out of the way, that's 3. And then can advance the pawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. So Black is 3 moves faster. So clearly resignable for White. And now the drawing for the 1 month premium diamond membership to chess.com. We will be closing the entries in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, now we're going to do the drawing.